What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Pick Six Podcast, CBS Sports Daily NFL Podcast. I'm Will Brinson. I'm your host. It is Tuesday, September 1st. Oh, my goodness. September is here. That means it's time for football. It's also time for gambling week. You got to get you ready for the football season. You got to get your future bets in. Maybe it'll be a little bit lighter in terms of the budget that you outlay for future bets this year, and that's fine. But we want to make sure that you guys take the best bets. So we're going to talk to smart people to get those bets for you. Yesterday, we talked to RJ White, who works at CBSSports.com and writes at SportsLine, and we did win totals. So check that out for RJ's best picks on win totals. We also talked to Pete Prisco about the Jaguars fiasco today. We talked to Larry Hartstein, joining me now from Larry's Casino. Is that the name of it? Larry's Sportsbook. What do you got? It's the backdrop. You can watch us on youtube.com/pick6. At Larry Hartstein on Twitter, managing editor of SportsLine.com. And I assume you have is it promo code Larry? What's the promo code?
You know what? We're using the promo code Bell, which is for my buddy Alan Bell. So I don't know why. But yeah.
He gets all the credit. We're using the credit for Alan Bell?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. We'll give it to Alan. That's fine. Use promo code Bell, and you'll get SportsLine for your first month for $1. And as I've been pointing out on this podcast, if you want to watch Champions League games or want to watch all of CBS's NFL games, just sign up for SportsLine. It's $1 for the first month, and you'll get CBS All Access with it, along with tons of great content. Mike McClure's over there posting up lots of DFS stuff. He's had several golf winners since the restart came back, and I'm sure that people will want to have all their NFL DFS content, their NFL bets. It's a great landing spot for tons of sports betting content. Anything I'm forgetting here, Larry?
You know, you mentioned McClure and some of the big names we have over there. Mike Barner up over 4,000 in NBA. And we were just talking about the U.S. Open. Our women's tennis expert from the other side of the ocean has had the last three winners, 20-1, 32-1, and 9-2. I guess I should have talked to you before this tournament started, but that's the kind of expertise we have in like every sport. And of course, this is Derby week. Jody Demling has 6 straight races coming into the Derby. So just a lot of great stuff.
Who's the tennis guy? Yeah, Barner. By the way, Mike Barner is 119, 73-3 in his last 195 NBA picks. That's pretty good. 7-2. He likes Miami against the Bucks, which was last night. So I hope that worked out well for him. I actually took the Heat series bet. I think the Heat are going to beat the Bucks in the series. I hope that worked out well for me in the first game. Debo does not like it when I start acting like I know what I'm talking about the NBA because he thinks he's the smarty pants of the NBA. But who's the tennis guy?
Gavin Mayer. And, let's see, he had this Jabour Owens. I don't think I'm pronouncing her name right, from Tunisia. He had her at 125-1, and I saw William Hill. I was like, that's a mistake. Because he was like, and then the next day it was down to 50-1. Like, I think they might have read his article. But anyway, it's just an example of the kind of stuff you can get on SportsLine.
There's nowhere in the drop down for tennis. Add tennis to the drop down.
Oh, there should be. I'm going to look in.
It's not a big deal. It's like tennis,
No, it is. It is.
Well, no, but I'm saying, like, I don't want to be like, I don't want to criticize, anyway. I was trying to find a guy, Gavin, and so I'm interested in reading the tennis picks because I'm a DGen, like anybody who would be diving into, like Fernelli's on here, by the way. How about that? Like anybody who would be diving into sportsline.com. So if you want picks on every sport, make sure and check it out. It is tons of great content, including tennis. So let's get to some division win bets. That's what's up on the site right now. We all put our best division win bets in. And Larry, you've got some spicy picks here. We're starting the AFC East, so we're going to have you pick your division winner for each one of them. And then you'll tell us if you like it as an actual bet because the Chiefs are minus 450 to win the AFC West. Don't bet on anybody else to win the Chiefs. Last year I picked the Broncos to win the division. I'm a clown for doing that. It was dead ass wrong. Wasn't close to happening. The Chiefs ran away with it. Just the Chiefs are going to win, but I don't know if you want to lay $450 to win 100. So we'll start in the AFC East. Who do you like in the AFC East? Are you riding the hype train with Buffalo, or are you trusting Bill Belichick? What do you think?
why? I mean, there should be a hype train, and there is a hype train, but why are they both minus 125 to win the East? The Patriots and the Bills we're talking about. Everybody knows the Jets and Miami, not, actual contenders, although I think, at least for Miami, much improved. But
plus 125, by the way, for William Hill.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And I just don't see why the odds are the same. I mean, Buffalo's defense, elite, great coaching, and the Patriots lose 6 opt-outs. Do we know that Cam Newton is going to work out? The best weapon that he has is 34-year-old Julian Edelman. You're a draft guy. How did they not take a wideout in this draft? I mean, that was, to me, like, just stunning. We'll see about Bill Belichick this year. But I actually like them, as we might talk about later, to miss the playoffs, even with the expanded field, at some good plus money, plus 170. I think the defense is going to come way down. You look at the quarterbacks that they played last year. You remember that all-star cast of quarterbacks that defense got to tee off on the first half of the year. So I just think they're coming back to earth, and there's no reason the Bills do not take this division.
Okay. I mean, I get it. I think from a blind, if you were to take, team A and team B, and we don't know anything about them. Like, if you're able to disguise the names and put up like the performance and the value and like how we perceive these teams and put one against the other, you'd be like, the Bills are going to beat the living crap out of the Patriots. Like, they're going to dominate them. But then when you realize that it's Bill Belichick, I think that's why the price is where it is. Like, they're not going to make Bill Belichick a dog in a division he's run for 20 years just because the Bills have, went to the playoffs twice in the last 3 years for the first time in forever. I think Sean McDermott's a great coach. I think Josh Allen gets a raw deal and is probably pretty good. Their defense is absolutely elite. They have good skill position guys now. I just think there's just I think it's just something. It's just hard to fade Bill Belichick. Like, what if Belichick just gets the 10-win season out of Cam Newton or a 12-win season out of Cam Newton? The Bills aren't matching that.
True, and you look at those games they had last year against the Patriots, and I think both were tight Patriot wins that could have gone the other way. There was a concussion in one of them.
Matt Barkley had to play.
Yeah. So, the Bills were right there last year, and I think this is the year they do it.
Okay. All right. Now, look, it's perfectly fine. You're getting plus 125 for a better team that if let's say we take the rosters of the Bills and they're the Chiefs, and we take the rosters of the Patriots and they're the Chargers, I mean, it's like minus 250, right? I mean, you know what I mean? Like, it's not, without Bill Belichick there, it's not plus 125 for everybody. There's not. They'd be like 3-1 or 4-1 to win the division. So, yeah, I mean, it makes sense. The AFC North, you have anything you like to bet here, or are you just going to go with the chalk?
There's no way I could go against the Ravens. Absolutely loaded. But I do like the Steelers a lot this year. I also like the Browns. I mean, this could be the division with 3 teams in the playoffs.
For sure.
Love what the Browns did with the offensive line and Kevin Stefanski. And one of the things I really like is Nick Chubb to win the rushing title at 9-1. I mean, he finished 46 yards behind Derrick Henry last year. And, they get Wills, number 10 overall. They get Conklin from the Titans to improve. I mean, just a much better system for Baker Mayfield. But I think we were starting to talk about the Ravens and the Steelers. So the Ravens just too dominant. I couldn't fade them in this division. I do like the Steelers as a bet to make the playoffs at minus 125. 7 first-rounders on that defense, Big Ben healthy. But in terms of the division, I don't see any value.
Yeah, I think Baltimore is definitely the best team in the division. I mean, we have to agree with that. Like, the Browns have upside, the Bengals are intriguing, and the Steelers, with a healthy Ben, can challenge the Ravens. But that's the whole thing, is if you're banking on Big Ben, you're banking on challenging the Ravens. And that's sort of the problem for me is, do we really trust them? Do we trust Big Ben to be healthy enough that they're definitely going to challenge? And even if they challenge, they could still lose. And the Ravens are well coached. They're extremely young across the board, extremely fast, extremely talented. They brought everybody back, both their coordinators. They added players in the offseason. They might even add like Antonio Brown to be even better. I don't know that I love the Ravens to win 13 games again or 14 games again or whatever it was, but I do think that this is a team that should win this division, maybe even comfortably. So I'm with you there, but I wouldn't want to lay the minus 260 for it either. To the AFC South. Now, this is interesting. 2 podcasts in a row. SportsLine guys come on here and disrespect my Indianapolis Colts. Unbelievable. But you're not even going to go with RJ's route, disrespecting him by taking the Texans. You're going to disrespect the Colts by taking the Jaguars? No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah.
Titans.
I love what the Jags are doing the last couple of days. No, but it's not so much a bet on the Titans, although I think there was nothing fluky about what Ryan Tannehill was doing last year. I mean, he was legitimately accurate, aggressive. The yards per attempt was off the charts, the best quarterback over those 10 weeks, I think it was. But, I mean, Phillip Rivers, and your heart has been broken so many times with the Chargers. I don't know how you could go in with the guy that not only had 20 interceptions, Will, 8 dropped interceptions.
Yeah.
I mean, this guy in adjusted interceptions had 26, which is Kyle Allen territory. And I know that means a lot to you also in Carolina. So I just think Rivers held back the Chargers. He's going to hold back the Colts. And I just think the Titans should not be the underdog.
My thing with the Titans is I'm concerned that we are going to see regression on defense for them with Dean Pease leaving. Jarrell Casey's gone. They got a ton of young talent. Like, I'm not saying there won't be a good defense, and Mike Vrabel's been a great coach, and maybe they edge David Clowney. But I'm worried that if the defense regresses, the offense is then going to have to change the way they operate. They are going to be forced to pass the ball a ton more. Ryan Tannehill will be less efficient. Maybe A.J. Brown goes nuts with tons of yardage, but they can't utilize Derrick Henry the way they want to utilize him, and that it just becomes problematic if they can't operate in the fashion that they want to operate. So, while I don't disagree that there's some value there at plus 160, and I think anybody can come out of this division out of the 3 teams, like Houston, Tennessee, or Indy. Like, I wouldn't be surprised by any of those. I'm off the Titans this year, but they're well coached and they have talent, and it's your prerogative if you want to pick the Titans. So,
well, I will give you the thing that gives me pause. The Colts have the easiest schedule in the league according to the win total projection. So that does give me a lot of pause. It's not a play that I love it, but if you're asking me what
it's a lean, right?
Some value, I would, yeah.
Well, and look, to be fair, I mean, I have no heart left. It's been broken so many times that I just continually to blindly back Phillip Rivers. I'm like, this is the year for sure. He said, sprinting up to the football and hey, Lucy, this is the year. Totally be fine. There shouldn't be a problem at all. As we mentioned, the AFC West, the Chiefs are the heavy favorite. You can't bet a dog in this division. You can't. The Chargers, we don't know how long Derwin James is going to be out, but now there's no timetable for his return. They announced on Monday, and Anthony Lynn was being asked about Earl Thomas and got feisty about it. It was all a weird thing. I don't trust Las Vegas. I don't trust Denver. The Chiefs are going to romp in this division, but they're minus 450. You can't take them, right?
Can't take them. It's a shame because the other 3 teams are really solid. And if the top team was not elite, but 27-3 the last 5 years in the division for Andy Reid, that's kind of sick. And most of the games have not been super close. So yeah, I see no one else winning and no value.
Yeah, pass on the AFC West. Now, can you parlay division winners?
I don't see why not.
I can't in my book. Would you be interested in a Ravens Chiefs parlay?
I would be interested in seeing what that would pay. Yeah,
450 and 260, so probably
you risk
100 to win 80 or something like that.
It might be around even, yeah.
Yeah, if it's even money, I wouldn't hate that. But then you run the risk of Big Ben is great. I think that's your only real problem is Big Ben's great or Lamar Jackson gets hurt and all of a sudden you're in a hellscape. So maybe don't do that. To the NFC, excuse me. I don't want to spoil it. Look at you. Who do you are you backing the Cowboys and all their preseason hype, or are you going a different direction?
In terms of the division, either of the 2 teams could win it. I mean, Jason Garrett took an 11-5, 12-4 team and led them to an 8-8 finish. So this team is loaded. I mean, I'm not fading the Cowboys at all, but in terms of the best value, I think it's going to be the Eagles. I'm a little worried with all these little injuries cropping up because my whole argument was they lost so many games to injury last year, 84 plus adjusted games lost. But it seems like it's already happening again with Rager and Wentz even out a little bit. So
Wentz is dinged up. Jalen Rager's going to miss 3 to 4 weeks. Andre Dillard is out. Yeah. You've got Brandon Brooks is going to miss the entire season. So, I mean, there's a lot of injuries for the Eagles. Like, it's very concerning in my opinion.
Yeah. I did see good news on Hargrave and that D line. I mean, Malik Jackson, if he's back, and Fletcher and Hargrave, I mean, that is going to be one of the all-time, I think, in the last few years, D lines that you cannot even move the ball against them, plus Darius Slay. So I love the Eagles minus 190 to win the playoffs, to make the playoffs.
Okay.
They're the only team with the same head coach, going into this year in that division. Plus, you get the Giants and Redskins. That's 4-0 right there. With all the injuries the Giants are already dealing with. So, yeah, I like the Eagles, and I just think that the Cowboys, though, absolutely loaded and do deserve that hype.
But it's the plus money with the Eagles, and then the coaching and the continuity and all that sort of makes you want to buy in with the Eagles.
That's where the value is. Yeah.
Okay, cool. Moving along to the NFC North. I see you're on the welcome to the hashtag Lions Den. There's apparently like 700 media members, all of whom are going to decide to back the Detroit Lions for no real apparent reason, including myself. The Lions 5.5 to 1, and you're going to back the Lions at 5.5 to 1 to win the NFC North.
I mean, to be totally honest, I had it at plus 850, and then I hear every single analytics guy in the business come on your show and also take the Lions. Since then, 50% of the action at William Hill on the Lions, they've come all the way down to plus 550 from plus 850, which is crazy. Although maybe with the trade that for Ngakoue, maybe that will widen it a little bit for the Vikings. But they were 3-4-1. And when Stafford went down, 2,500 yards, 19 TDs, 5 picks. They add DeAndre Swift, the best receiving running back in the draft. They got robbed against Green Bay on Monday Night Football. I mean, that was an outright robbery. Yeah. So plus the game against the Chiefs, they really should have won. That was fluky. That loss at home was fluky to the Chiefs. So, but anyway, no more crying. But if Stafford is healthy, team, there's no elite team in this division. The Packers were about a 9-7 team that lucked their way into 13-3. Yep. The Vikings are replacing like 8 key players on defense. They have 9 new defensive players through the draft. They lose Diggs. That was like 40% of their air yards, in Stephon Diggs. So I just think this is anyone's division. So why not take a shot on the Lions?
I'm with you. I mean, look, Stafford has to be healthy, of course. And if Stafford is healthy, you need to get 16 games from him. I mean, like, you got to get 16 games from Stafford and a full max value Matthew Stafford out there on the field, cranking it out, doing what he needs to do, and you need to get 4,000 passing yards. And if he does all of that and the defense takes a small step forward, I don't think it's crazy at all. I think we're talking like a 9-7 division winner where the Packers stink and implode because Aaron Rodgers is angry. The Vikings defense can't get going, and then the offense is trying to hold up that team, and that's not going to work. And then the Bears have Trubisky and Foles, and it just doesn't shake out for them. Are you okay with it at 5 to 1? Are you going to sit there and wait maybe for the value to get back up, or what? I
think you got to get at least 6 to 1. You got to wait on this a little bit. I'm sure you can find 6 to 1 out there right now, but crazy to see a division, with the biggest underdog at plus 550.
Okay. All right. To the NFC South. This to me is an easy one. Who you got? I agree with you.
Who, Falcons?
No, please. Panthers. It's the Saints. All the hype around the top. This is the perfect betting scenario for a smart gambler. Is that Tom Brady goes to Tampa Bay and the hype gets cranked up around Tampa Bay, and everyone ignores the team that's been really good for multiple years.
I agree. The Saints should be bigger favorites than they are. What is it, like minus 120 or something like that?
Yeah, minus 120.
Yeah, they should be bigger. Definitely go with the Saints. But, I love your Carolina Panthers and Teddy Bridgewater. 30-9 all time against the spread in games where he has taken the majority of the snaps. He does not turn the ball over. Somehow the team plays well around him. And there's something to that. I think there's going to be value in certain spots with the Panthers.
Okay. But you think the Saints are the team to back in this division, especially to me in a pandemic offseason. You get the consistency, you get the smart coaching, the good quarterbacking, lots of weapons. They have Jameis Winston there. I know people joke about it, but like they have Jameis Winston and Taysom Hill if Breeze gets hurt again. They have backup options. They're not going to be totally screwed. And that's the reason they were good last year is Teddy was able to step in and win 5 games without him.
Yeah. I don't think anything to think about here in terms of that pick.
Okay. To me, that's a like too. And then the NFC West, you going to jump on a dark horse like the Rams or the Cardinals? Or you going to stick with the de facto champs?
I'm going to stick with the champs, but it feels like the Ravens to me, just no value.
Okay. So 49ers at plus 100. There's just, it's not bad that you're getting even money, but I would almost,
well, those are 3 legitimate teams surrounding them. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think all 4 of those teams, any one of those teams could win the division.
Yeah.
I tend to think the Rams might be the best value because people are pumped. Like people are like, the Rams stink. The Rams are done. The Rams are toast. Sean McVay has never won less than 9 games. It's not insane to think that he could come back and win 12 games this year and win that division. And Jared Goff, the offensive line plays better and Goff has a better season. The defense takes a step forward. None of that is crazy, right?
I think it's a little far-fetched. I don't think it's crazy. I don't think it's likely.
Okay. But is it like it would be surprising if the Rams went 4-12?
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
I think they're going to be a playoff contender.
Sorry, but if any team in this division goes 6-10 or worse, that is surprising.
I agree with that completely. All right, let's take a quick break. When we come back, we'll talk teams that might make and miss the playoffs and week 1 lines. Okay, so you teased a pair of these, maybe all 3 of these, I guess technically. But what are your 3 favorite bets to make or miss the playoffs this year, Larry?
Well, I'm going to go with the Eagles. Like we said, I love the continuity in that division that has no continuity, and just a professional organization. The added weapons, minus 190, pretty good deal to make the playoffs.
Okay. Are you worried that's too much juice? And I think, I know you said that you like them to win the division, but you don't like that necessarily as a bet. You would rather lay the 190 to make the playoffs with the knowing that, you just got to be the 7th seed in the NFC to win that bet versus getting the plus 140 and you actually have to beat out the Cowboys.
Yeah, it's just respect for the Cowboys' talent and just the expanded playoffs and getting the Giants and Redskins, 4-0 right there. I really believe that's 4-0 right there. So what are you talking about? You got to win 5 more games.
Yeah, that's fair. So have you noticed any mathematical discrepancies where with the expanded playoffs, do you think Vegas has adjusted pretty well because it's hard to say, right? Like we don't know what the 7th seed is going to be. We know what they would have been in years past, but do you think there's any, aside from Philly and the other teams, have you noticed any value or surprising, added juice to these teams to make the playoffs versus miss?
Definitely added juice. And in fact, the Eagles were minus 220 and now down to 190. It was weird. They opened at 190. They went up to 220. And I was like, oh, damn, I'm not going to lay 220. And then it went down to 190.
Interesting. That's kind of bizarre. I wonder if it's just all the injuries. All right, who else you like? You got the another Pennsylvania team you think makes the playoffs. You mentioned
Steelers minus 125. I really feel this should be higher with that defense. I saw something. Tomlin has never gone worse than 8-8.
Never been 500 below 500.
And that's 13 seasons.
Crazy.
And ever since Minka Fitzpatrick came on, that defense unbelievable, at another level. So if you just took out those first 3 or 4 weeks before he was in the system. They might have been the most efficient defense in the league. 3 All-Pros, 7 first-rounders. Eric Ebron is a big thing, I think, in terms of the tight end and a few other weapons for Big Ben. So, yeah, minus 125, easy.
Okay. And finally, you mentioned the tease at the Patriots. Plus, you're fading the Patriots, fading Bill Belichick.
One year this has to be right. No, but this is the year. This is the year. So many guys, opting out. And that defense was so fortunate last year. I just can't even remember the names of the quarterbacks that they feasted on, but it was a little bit fluky.
Oh, it was a laugh, right? The best one was Luke Falk.
Yeah, and at the end of the season, we started to see a little bit more realistic picture of what that defense was, and now they lost, Cannon and Hightower and Chung, and I'm sure he'll have them ready and they'll fill in, but Just the weapons on offense, I don't see it there. Plus 170, could they go 8-8? Yeah. And that could miss the playoffs at plus 170.
Okay. Fading Bill Belichick, the greatest coach of all time. Seems like a viable strategy. All right. Talk to me about week 1, Larry. What, when you're looking at, you got a betting system that people might not know about. Tell the pod listeners about this betting system so they can make some cash in week 1.
Let's do it. Well, everyone
75% over the past 18 years. Jeez.
Yeah, that's not bad. It's not a small sample size, but everyone knows division dogs in week 1, or a lot of people know that that's a good trend. And going back to 2003, that's about 61%. And the thinking is, the teams so well. And so you're getting more points than maybe you should based on perception. And in week 1, we really don't know anything. I think the early weeks are always the weeks to take the points.
Sure.
Because we really don't know anything. But this system is bet on a non-playoff team against a playoff team in a division matchup. And it's 6 times in week 1 that this applies. Jets, Bills, Saints, Bucks.
That's a crazy large number. I guess it's because they loaded the division games early in the season.
Exactly.
So there might be even more of an advantage this year.
Yeah, it could be. And it's, Browns, Ravens, Redskins, Eagles, Dolphins, Patriots, Cardinals, 49ers is the other one. The Cardinals covered both, I believe, last year anyway. Yep. So you're talking about 6 spots, and that system is 36-12 against the number since 2002. And guess what? 24, 23-1 straight up. I was trying to do the money line payoff today, but I didn't have time to put in all 48 money lines and combine them. But it would be astronomical, that payoff, if you just took these division dogs that didn't make the playoffs against a division team that did.
Non-playoff division dogs against playoff division favorites. So I'm trying to think, which team specifically does that apply to across the
So now you would have the Bucks against the Saints, the Redskins against the Eagles, the Browns against the Ravens, the Dolphins against the Patriots, the Cardinals against the 49ers, and the Jets against the Bills. The only thing is now you're fading the Ravens, Saints, 49ers, and Patriots in week 1, which is,
terrifying. But, the Browns did beat the Ravens last year.
That's
right. That's not out of control.
They crushed them.
Yeah.
And here's the subset, and I got to give credit. This is from one of our experts on SportsLine, the SDQL gurus who have this unbelievable database. Yeah. If you just look at that 75% and then look at the week 2 game for the favorite, if the favorite has an easy look-ahead game, like the Bills have the Dolphins, a team that they beat by double digits, if you have a double-digit win as the next game on your schedule, then that dog is 10-0. So it's,
So you can really refine it. Now, these are trends, so it's not guaranteed, but it makes a lot of sense.
It's not guaranteed.
And by the way, I plugged in the money line parlay, and this does not include the Eagles versus the Washington football team because the line has been pulled for that game, I guess, because Carson Wentz is dinged up.
Oh, okay.
So it makes sense so that Washington's not going to have a money line out there. But so we have the Dolphins, Browns, Jets, Jaguars, and Cardinals all to win straight up.
Oh, yeah.
What's that?
Well, the Jags.
Oh, the Jags wouldn't qualify
because the Colts didn't make it. But
Colts didn't make the playoffs.
But they are part of the division. Just division dogs in week 1 is also a 61%.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, but this is for the money line. Okay, sorry. Yeah. So I replaced the Bucks with replaced the Colts with the Bucks. It's plus. Is that if you bet? Is it you bet $10? I guess it's 377-1. So you bet $10, you win $3,700, $770. That's pretty good.
That's not bad.
And none of these dogs, Miami would be shocking, but again, they beat the Patriots last year. Cleveland would be shocking, but they beat the Ravens last year. The Jets beating the Bills, that's not insane at all. The Cardinals beating the 49ers, they almost did it twice last year, and then the Buccaneers winning is not crazy either. So big dogs, but certainly a viable parlay. I kind of like it. Spicy.
Is this the week 1 pick show parlay?
Yes, that's right. We're locking in right now. We'll and I won't make another pick for the rest of the season because I'll be up so much money. We'll put $100 on this and win $37,700. So if you want to do that, fire away. What else anything else from week 1 stand out to you, Larry?
Yeah, In the division dog category, Green Bay 3.5. I know we just trashed Packers as not being as good as they were, but I think the Vikings are also inflated, and really without the crowd, that Mike Zimmer and that home field are so
the best
good.
home field advantage in football, and it's gone now.
So it's gone, and I grabbed it at 3.5. It's down to 3, but it may pop back up to 3.5 with this trade that just happened. I just think that is a 3-point game. Either way, Packers swept them last year. I just think, take the 3.5.
I'm with you there. And I like to back the Vikings. I don't think Kirk Cousins is figuring it out how to beat the Packers randomly, at home with no fans on. All right. Larry Hartstein, managing editor of sportsline.com. Remember, use promo code BELL, go to sportsline.com, and you can, you get a first month for $1. And then you'll pay for the month by yourself, just betting on tennis and the Kentucky Derby. So why not go check it out? Larry, thanks for hanging out, buddy.
It was an honor, Will.
Yeah, always fun. We'll talk to you soon, man.